What are you gonna do with them cars then? I don't know. It might be worthy of double
It's
checking.
how big-
That's
Okay. Good to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Please join us in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next up is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have any changes? If not, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Approval of minutes from June 18, 2025. Any changes or a motion to adopt?
Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt the minutes.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Okay. Minutes are approved unanimously. Old business, we don't have any. New business. Item A, public comment. Does anyone wish to speak from the public?
Yes, sir. I don't know, is this on or no? Not sure. Okay, well, I've got it pretty, yeah, it sounds like it's on. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, General Manager Clemens, my name is Brian Nickel. I reside in Lake of the Woods and serve as a District 5 Supervisor for Orange County and Emery Bear for RSA. I'm here to express to you my appreciation and thank. I returned to normal conditions, and I witnessed it, and that's exactly the kind of example that I would expect from an employee to model for their fellow employees, and Joe did that. The second instance, and this was more recent, was in the middle of the Independence Day holiday weekend. I received a number of constituent calls and inquiries regarding what appeared to be a significant sewer overflow and some issues with one of the areas in and around Crystal Court in Lake of the Woods. I immediately, with some trepidation because it was a holiday weekend, I called Joe. He answered his phone. Joe responded immediately. I could tell he was with his family. You could hear in the background, and it being a holiday weekend, lots of folks were, out and about with their families, in a timely approach to two very significant water and sewer issues in Lake of the Woods that were directly impacting constituents. And I would ask that you pass my appreciation and those of my constituents on to Joe and the rest of the staff for their efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nick. Are there any other public comments? Okay, customer requests.
We don't have any today, sir.
Comments from the board. I just comment that Ed Voorhees has left employment with Orange County, and concurrent with that, he's also resigned from the RSA board. I just want to thank him for the last couple of years of his activity on the board. Ted had a lot of relevant experience to what we're doing here, so he's very helpful in that.
He was a pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
He really was.
We'll miss him.
He was a pleasure.
Wish you luck in Chapel Hill.
I did.
Okay.
To you just the paperwork in our discussion with the town that we needed to do, and I'd said then we'd be bringing some, which we sort of out here, this building and others along here, to the town of Orange system. We will still own this side of it, but we'll be getting water from the town rather than from two wells that we've been using for a number of years that do have some operational concerns long term. The project was bid. Bids were opened on June 12th. We only had two bidders. You can see in the tabulation. Patterson Construction for $197,844, and Walter C. Via Enterprises at $940,000. Big difference in the bids. The engineer has gone through this, and we are recommending awarding this bid to Patterson Construction in the amount of $497,840, $844.
I'm just curious, the difference in the bid was where on earth was the difference? Was just everything a lot higher, or was there one element that
Was there anything, David was in the bid opening, was there any one element, or did just Walter CB just have a much higher, they were out of Northern Virginia, I think?
Yeah, Walter CV is not a local company, whereas Patterson Construction, obviously we've worked with them quite a bit over the years, so they're more familiar with us and our policies and procedures. So I think there was, that comfort factor was priced into their bid.
That's a lot of comfort.
There is a lot of comfort.
There's a lot of company.
You said their location is Northern Virginia?
I believe so. I could probably figure that out real quick.
Not a big deal.
We really couldn't understand the large difference that there is.
They're actually out of West Point, Virginia.
West Point.
Okay, so we need you want a resolution to adopt this?
I think just a motion from the board would be sufficient
Okay,
if the board will accept the bid and authorize us to proceed with the project.
okay, is there any further discussion, or does someone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve that, Patterson Construction at a bid at $497,844.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Got that 3-0. E, design build procedures resolution.
Yes, sir. Starting on page 4 of your agenda package is information to do with the design build construction contract procedures. These need to be adopted by the board if we're ever going to use them. We worked with Mr. Kalo's firm on getting this put together. We see this as a potential to use, particularly on the Lake of the Woods pump station project that we have coming up, as a good means of tackling that rather than the standard design bid build. But before we can even consider using it, the board has to adopt it, accept it as an RSA procedure. You'll see on page 10, 11 and 12, it's just the procedures as adopted by the Secretary of the Administration that were effective last December. We've added that just so you can see that. And then the resolution itself is authorizing RSA as a public body and adopting the attached design build construction contract procedure. We've talked about this in the past, we've never actually tried to move forward with it, but in looking at this particular project, this seemed like possibly a very good fit.
Okay, questions by the board? If there are none, is someone care to make a motion to adopt the resolution on page 13?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adopt the resolution on page 13.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Tim, you want to do a roll call on this?
Yes, sir. Elliott?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Marshall?
Aye.
Okay, item F is construction management procedure resolution.
Exactly. While we were doing this, working with Mr. Kalo's firm and getting this ironed out, put together, we also looked at another method that we can use if we need to. It is construction management procedures. It also requires adoption by the board. It's different from design build. The key feature of construction management would be that a construction manager would act basically on the owner's behalf as our representative, overseeing the project's design, bidding, and construction phases. There's a portion of that. They have something called construction management at risk, which can also obligate that construction manager to take on some of the financial risk if there is some. And it guarantees a maximum price on a project. our thought was, again, this is another tool that can be used in some of these more complex projects. And as we were going to go ahead and ask the board to adopt the design build procedure, we decided to ask you to adopt this also, as it just gives us another tool to be able to use in the event this would fit better than a design build. There, again, it's something that has to be followed very strictly. There's a lot of procedures that go with it. But we would ask the board to consider adopting this also as just another means of proceeding with construction work, more complicated construction projects, as we look at some of our capital work coming up.
Okay, Stephen, did you want to speak to this at all?
I would just say that these are complicated. Typically, in the past, the design build procedures have been merged into construction management. The statute has gotten so overblown that our procurement attorney at the firm, Heather Lockerman, who came to us from the AG's office, suggested breaking these into two. And it makes it a lot cleaner if you do choose to go the construction management route. We suspect if you're going to do this at all, you're going to do it, like Tim said, with design build, but it's much more efficient to go ahead at this time and adopt both of them. Like I said, they would have been in one, but it would have been a nightmare. It's difficult enough now because we have to satisfy the code, and the reason the secretary's version is attached because our policies and procedures have to be consistent with the secretaries. So there's a multi-layer thing. You can definitely go wrong on if you're not careful. That's why we divide it. That's why we have two.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board?
Construction management and design.
No, let me explain why. I told you this is complicated. That cites the name of the code section, and the name of that statute is construction management and design build.
Okay.
We used to do the procedures all in one, but
So the key line is the fourth one down that just says construction management, construction contract procedures.
correct.
Okay.
So I stand corrected on that.
No, not at all.
This
It
is
is complicated.
quite complicated.
If you look at the last resolution, it cites the same code section and also includes construction management and design. So no, that kind of proves my point on how complicated.
So, Mr. Marshall, your motion is to adopt the resolution on page 24, correct?
That's correct. Let's keep that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, Tim, we're going to do roll call.
Elliott,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Okay, that's about 3-0. All right, that brings us to item G, which is RSA's disconnection policy
Yes, sir.
resolution.
We are currently working on a VRA bond issue as we look forward to capital improvement work that we need to do. And so one of the things we're working on right now is trying to be ready for the fall issue. That's our goal. But in looking to the future and that bond issue, this will be a requirement of the bonding company VRA. And so we wanted to, again, we worked with Mr. Taylor's firm and the purchasing, I guess she's a specialist, she's very good at it. And her recommendation was to go ahead and, as we work on the VRA application, go ahead and have the board adopt this resolution that deals with disconnection of water and sewer services for unpaid rates, fees, and charges. I think similar language will be in the bond documents when they come out and are issued, but we wanted to go ahead and get this before you as we work on that and just make sure that we formalize it with the board. And again, Stephen can add to that if you need to.
Resolution on page 25.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Any further discussion? All right, Tim, roll call.
Elliott,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Okay. That brings us to the general manager's report.
Yes, sir. My report will be fairly brief. You'll see on page 26, your financial report in your package. We currently are showing a positive net operating income before including any non-operating revenue. Our sales are picking up a little bit, but it has been a very wet summer. So it hasn't picked up as much as we had hoped, but we're in reasonably good shape at this point of the year. As I said earlier, we are preparing an application to submit to DRA for inclusion in hopefully the fall bond issue. If not, then we will make the spring bond issue if for some reason we can't meet this deadline. We're doing that in preparation for capital projects that we have in our plan that need to be done. And last, Mr. Chairman, you had already mentioned it, but Mr. Voorhees has resigned his position and accepted a new job in North Carolina. So he was a pleasure to work with. We'll miss him and wish him well. And that would be my report.
Okay. Any questions on that? We'll go to the attorney report.
Not much to add beyond the 3 resolutions. We've been working on some other things that aren't the subject of this meeting. We do continue to work on the PFAS matter because we continue to get inquiries from the claims administrator. There could be some additional funds coming, but it's incredibly difficult to tell given the scope of the class action. But we did pass on the proceeds check that we did receive on one of the claims. And there are other claims out there. So stay tuned. That's what we are on PFAS. Thank you.
Okay. And do we have a closed session?
No, sir. Not required.
Before we adjourn, I just kind of like toss something out. If Pete and Keith are amenable, I'd like to have Tim start to think about. I really think we live in an age that more and more is really important to get information out. And I think, over the years, we've kind of just depended on the general manager or his assistant or somebody to get out. But I think we're at a point where we need to start thinking about having maybe a public information position. Obviously, they could have other things in their portfolio on a regular basis too. Probably help with some of the paperwork and behind the scenes stuff. But I'm seeing this in multiple areas that I'm involved in, where if you don't get the correct information out, then the incorrect information is going to get out, and so it's really critical to get there as fast as possible with the best information that you can so that people know what's going on. So that's not a motion to do anything today, it's just with Pete and Keith's concurrence, I'd kind of like Tim to start thinking about addressing that.
I agree wholeheartedly. We see it all the time.
Well, I agree. I think, this, as you well know, we recently had an issue with the dogwood and a lot of false information about the program and that, and I guess that would, all county managers would fall under this, having a public message to represent what is truly happening and perhaps make correction on what is not happening. So yeah, I fully agree with that. I don't know what this type of position entails, but whether it can be tied in with some other responsibilities, but that would be, definitely.
Well, that's why I said, kind of like Tim to think about it, be able to maybe bring a proposal back to us on what this position would look
All
like.
right, I'll do that, sir.
Certainly, we would hope that we won't have enough emergencies to actually keep a person busy responding to emergencies. So there would be other things that they will be responsible for. Okay, having done that, I'm open to a motion for adjournment.
I'll move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
I
Aye, we are adjourned.